All right, so I am a report maniac, and I don't know if it's my obsessive compulsiveness, but it's just like a way that you can really figure out like where your business is and where it needs to go. And Leisha, you're not a sales coordinator yet, right?
She's a VF. She's a VF. Yes.
Okay. So this might be a little bit over your head, and Christy, it might be a little bit over your head too, but we're going to work where you guys are since it's such a small group. Lisa and Justin, you guys are probably more getting the hang of reading your reports. Allie, how much work have you done with them so far on reading reports?
Not very much.
Okay.
Not very much at all.
All right. So AJ, and actually Audrey, this may be more applicable for you guys, but I'm going to try to make it work for everybody. We'll answer questions and we'll just kind of go from there. I didn't know I was such a numbers person, but I always wanted to know like what was happening. And so I did really delve into the reports. And now I would say that all of my national marketing directors, Allie, Amy, Jake, the people that have wanted to, they have become experts at doing these reports in a way that other teams don't know. So most people say like, they don't know where they're going to end up at the end of the month, until the end of the month comes. I'm like, that's crazy. How can you not know where you're going to be? And how can you not know what kind of growth you've had? So there are 3 reports that I think are super important, and I hope that you guys pulled those. And they are the number 1 that's so important is your preferred customer genealogy. And that's important even when someone first signs up. Doesn't matter how big their business is. They want to keep an eye on that preferred customer genealogy. And I like to pull that for everybody on my team, not just for my customers. I want to know what's happening on all of my distributors' customers. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. The second report that I think is probably more important than the PVC report is a 12-month analysis, especially if you've been doing this for 12 months, is because it shows you what you've been doing. And little secondary side note on that are the graphs that are on when you click on the little KPI, orange box on your virtual office, and you click on My Team in Business at a Glance, it pulls up your graphs. And you want to be looking at those graphs. And if you're doing image work or you're doing any kind of personal transformation growth work, you want to see those in your mind's eye. Like I picture those graphs going up every month. And you want to be seeing that. You want to be seeing your new distributors going up, your new customers, your team's new customers, your pay line, and most importantly, your paycheck, right? Like you want to see that number going up every month. So that's a really good visualization to have. And then the third report that we're going to go over is your PVC report. Now, until you start to get a pretty big organization, the PVC report's not that important. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. When your business gets as big as AJ's or Allie's, then it becomes more important, and there's things to kind of look at. Allie's probably got stuff happening on her PVC report that she doesn't know is happening. So it's good to check in. But let's start out with your preferred customer genealogy. So did everybody print out your preferred customer genealogy? Yeah? You got it. Okay. So I don't have it in front of me right now, but what's the number of the column that has the numbers A's, R's, N's, C's, and D's in them? What's that number? So I don't have it in front of me. Does everybody see the column I'm talking about?
Yeah, it just has like it doesn't have a number. It just is like address, city. It's like the ID.
Hold on a second. Let me just pull up my reports. Hold on. But they all have a number. Every single.
I just see ID for genealogy.
On the PVC report, they have columns that are numbered, but not on the genealogy.
They do.
I'm thinking it would be ARO. Okay.
No, so it's yeah, so it's the thing that says ID. Sorry, they're not numbered, but it's the thing that says ID, and it's next to the ARO number.
Yep.
Do you see that? Yes? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go down that whole list, and hopefully you've got your entire organization right now, and everybody right now, go down that whole list, First thing you're looking for is Ds. Circle every D that you see on that report. Does anybody see any Ds? Chris, do you have that? Okay, cool. So look for every D on there. Super important this last day of the business month to get these cleaned up. Those are declines. And usually it is just a missed credit card, like they changed their credit card or something happened. Sometimes it's that people like, sometimes you get these customers that every month there's a declined credit card because maybe they're using a debit card or whatever. But who has any declines at all? Okay. And are they your personal declines, like your customers, or are they your downlines declines? You can unmute yourself.
Downline.
They're your downlines. Okay. So you need to text them right now and tell them because they're not looking at this. And what happens is if you don't catch these declines, what happens is that after 30 days, they, number one, go to collections. And it's not real collections, it's Juice Plus collections, so it doesn't go on their credit report or anything like that. But the customer doesn't know that, and they get really mad, especially if it's just because their credit card changed. So that's the first thing that happens. Second thing that happens is they take back all the money they paid you. And not only do they take back all the money that they paid you, they take back all the money that they paid Allie and AJ and me and Mitra, everybody, because they have to spend that money to go collect that money. So my dad worked in sales, and he always collected on bad debts because he didn't want to have them hold back his commissions. So you want to be my dad and collect. You want to collect on these debts before they show up. And what happens is if they go to collections, the customer gets angry. They usually cancel their order and you lose them all for just like not updating their credit card. So when I see a D, I just simply text or whatever method I have of normally communicating with that customer. I just text them and say, hey, it looks like you might have changed your credit card on your Juice Plus order. And I just want to get that updated before the end of the month or before the end of the week or whatever is important to you. But it's a 30-day window. So it's really important that you take care of the Ds. Those are the number ones. A lot of times the Ds turn to Cs, and so you think you don't have any Ds, but they've already gone to D and then to C. So you don't want that to happen. So I like you to pull a report every week. And in the last couple of days of the business month, I like you to pull it like towards the end of the month. I pull it really, really frequently because things can change. So that's the first thing that you're looking for. The second thing that you're looking for, let me just pull my report up again. Sorry, I need to make sure I'm giving you the right information. So the second thing that you're looking for is the thing that, so that same line, you're looking for cancellations that you didn't know about. Like, are there people who have canceled that you didn't know about? And are there people in your downline that have CR, which is Children's Research, the Children's Health Study, that have a C in them? And you really want to address that because, number one, often that happens because they didn't know about their credit card being changed, and they're going to get booted off that program, and you don't want them to get booted off that program, right? And then the second thing is that they made an agreement to stay on the program for a minimum of 1 year, so we want to remind them of that. And for reps who don't realize that that's what they've asked their customers to do, we want to make sure that they understand that, okay? So that's the second thing that I want to do with the preferred customer genealogy is look to see, where do I have cancellations I didn't know about? Who in my downline has a bunch of cancellations? Who has cancellations that are by Children's Research? And the next thing that I like to look at is the last line, which is the code, the product code. And that's going to say things like C3, L3, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a key for that up at the top of your genealogy. But where that number is really used is for knowing like who hasn't been exposed to all of our products. So like who do you have that's just using gummies or just using Orchard and Garden or just using the Trio or just using Shake or just using Tower Garden? and they haven't been exposed to all of them, you want to make sure that you're reaching out to your customers. And if you have customers under distributors that aren't active, treat them as if they're your customers. Reach out to them and just say, hey, this is Joy Kelly, and I work with Ali Schneider, and I know Ali's been out of the country for the last 2 years. And I just wanted to check in with you. I'm a resource for you, and I want to make sure that we're getting you the education that you're looking for. Which products are you using right now, and what kind of results are you having? And you can do this on the phone if you like getting on the phone. In fact, we used to make scripts for people, but most people don't like getting on the phone. They like to text. And you can use text to really get in relationship with people, but using that column, I think, is really key. Now, the last thing that you can use this report for, which as you're going for positions, is the sneaky, it's not sneaky, but most people don't know how to use it. And it's really exciting to me. And it's the line that shows when their next shipment date is, which corresponds to when their order gets processed. So today, if you pulled a PUC report today, all of your orders should have been processed, and the only thing new that you're going to have are orders that get placed today or tomorrow. We have until 5 p.m. Central tomorrow to get orders backdated into January. So if you're going for a position, or you're going for qualification, or you're just going for bragging rights, you might want to be placing orders up until tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central, and then you have to call distributor support or have someone in your upline call distributor support and move those back into January business, and you will get paid on them for your January paycheck. So that's really big.
Joy,
Yeah.
if we have questions as you're going through, is it all right to ask?
Just interrupt me. Yep, just interrupt me. Yeah, we only have a couple people on the call, so.
Okay, so we had a couple different Cs that come on. Some of them are we canceled and restarted or something through them. Excuse me. Is there a way to get canceled off of the report at some time, or do they always stay on there as a cancel?
I don't know that question. I don't know the answer to that question. So you have something that shows up as a cancellation, but then you restarted them and so they're on the report again?
No, or it's like people who just canceled. They still come up on our report every month. So
That's
it's like
good.
you have a lot of cancels.
You want them to keep coming up on your report because you don't want to forget them. Because it's way easier to get back customers that you once had and get new customers. So I want to see all my canceled customers. Yeah, I don't want them going away.
Okay.
I want them there. This report is as your business keeps growing, this is huge fodder for reach outs. And I'm sure that many of you have, I have turned canceled customers into distributors with qualified businesses. Just simply by following up with them and finding out, what happened for you? Why did you get on Juice Plus in the first place? What did you see for yourself? And then why did you stop using it? And usually they stop using it because they didn't get any education and they got overstocked on the product. So why wouldn't I want to keep in touch with them?
Yeah, we have a couple of our first cancels were financial. Somebody bought a house. The other one went back to school, different things like that. So it was, so I know there are ones like the one that bought a house. She's like, I'm coming back. I just don't know when because we bought a house that we can't really afford, stuff like that. So
you don't want her to go off your report, number one. You want to keep people that are like that. My recommendation is that you keep them in your follow-up like they're customers. You continue to give them customer education because first of all, if they're in financial straits, the worst thing that they could do is lose their health. Ali told you about my start that I was living in my sister's basement, just lost my house, just lost my club. The worst thing that I could have done was lose my health. So there was no way that I was going to not take care of my health. I was a single mom living on very little money, and Juice Plus back then was $179 for a 4-month supply of just orchard and garden blend. There was no installment plan. That's how much it cost. There was no children's health study. I bought a double dose for both me and Jake. So I don't even have any conversation about Juice Plus is too expensive because my mom lived on a fixed income. She was making less than $1,000 a month, and she started taking Juice Plus before I did. So people value their health or they don't, but even that, I don't want to make them wrong. I just want to keep them in the follow-up loop, and I want to keep loving on them because I believe in them, even if they don't believe in themselves enough to spend the money that they need to. And then the second thing about this is that the shakes and the Tower Gardens don't cost people anything. The shakes are replacement spending. So I don't know if you can find a meal for $2 out there that has what Juice Plus Complete has in it. And I know that you can't buy the produce that you can grow off Tower Gardens, even with lights in Wisconsin. You can't buy that produce for the cost that you can pay the $45 a month for a Tower Garden. So I just really believe in people even when they don't believe in themselves. So I don't want them going off my radar. I want them staying on there. And when you have reps that aren't active, this preferred customer genealogy, this is like a lifeline to like people that you can be reaching out to, and you have no idea like who's in there. It's a gold mine. It's absolutely a gold mine. Yes, AJ.
Yeah, Joy, I was actually just going to say, like, so I have some inactive reps on my team, but they've had in the past big customer, they've had quite a few customers. So like I'm chipping away slowly at my genealogy report and personally reaching out to them and saying, hey, we have this great Jumpstart program. It's changed a lot since you were a customer. Introducing a program now is so good because those are customers that they might not even have known about T30. So that is really what I'm doing now. I do let my reps know that I'm reaching out to their friends because I'm like, hey, George, hey, I'm going to be contacting some of the people in your downline, just an FYI. Great, go for it. You take care of them. I just don't want anything to do with the business right now. It's not my time. So those customers to me still need to be taken care of. So.
Yes, absolutely. And it's actually your responsibility
to
do that. So whether or not your rep says, hey, don't contact any of my people, it's your responsibility to do that. So you just let them know that I'm doing this because it's my responsibility as an active distributor. And now with this all the free materials through the Healthy Living Revolution, you can send people free stuff. I mean, like just ask them, would you like some free stuff? Would you like a free recipe book? Would you like a free webinar? Would you like a free children's program? There's so much stuff that you can send them just to educate them and love on them. And you have no idea what's going to happen with that reach out. So preferred customer genealogy, I know I've hammered it. Any more questions about the preferred customer genealogy? It's your most important report. And even when you start, you want to be pulling that thing up all the time, at least once a week. And towards the end of the month, I pull it up probably the last week, I probably pull it up every day just to see what's changing. Any questions on the preferred customer genealogy?
Yeah, I had a question on the code. You were talking about the last line. It tells you what people are or are not taking.
Yeah.
How do I find out what those codes are? Is there somewhere that I can go?
The first sheet on your preferred customer genealogy gives you the
Okay.
code. And I print that out. I print that out and I have it like taped up in my office because after 22 years, I still don't know all those codes.
Okay.
I know C3 and but then we get the dot, so it's like I can never quite remember. And then the other thing that I like to do is, this is the last piece I want to tell you, is I write down what the monthly PVC on all those codes is. Okay, so like the monthly PVC on C3, which is a trio, is 4238. And so the last little piece of this is that where it shows when the product is getting shipped again, you'll see if it's a 4I, that means that every month on that date, that product is getting billed. And so if you're trying to figure out what your points are going to be at the end of the month, and say it's the 15th of the month, and you want to know, what do I need to do to be qualified this month? Like, am I going to be customer qualified? Am I going to be qualified period? Am I going to be POB qualified? You can go down that list of those dates. I underline everything. So if it's the 15th, nothing that says the 15th has processed yet because it processes that night. So everything from the 15th to the 30th, I underline and I write what the PVC amount is. So 4238, 1763 for complete. et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You want to make sure that you're looking at the ththings that are anomalies, like 2 I's, so 2 installments. So it's going to be 4238 times 2. If it's a 4 without an I after it, it means it's a pay in full order. And it's only going to process on the month that it gets shipped. So it's going to process in full. I always count that as gravy. I don't count that in my totaling up. But that's going to tell you, you're just going to total up that last column. And, you know, when Allie and Jake and Amy were all going for MD, I mean, that's all I was really was an accountant. I was just totaling up people's points. Where is everybody going to be? And every day I would get up and I'd print out the reports. And it's kind of fun because it can tell you, like, if you want to be qualified, or if you've got someone on your team that you want to be qualified, or if you're going for, like, all you guys except Leisha are sales coordinators now, so you're going for senior sales coordinator, and you have to hit 8,000 in points. So if you want to figure out, like Danny Martinelli, if you guys know her, this month she's going for SSC. And so she knows right now that she's at 7,680 or something like that. And she knew that going into today, even though today's report shows it, but she knew that going into today, but totaling those numbers up, and then it tells you, okay, these are how many new orders I need. Without you guessing how many new orders you need, it tells you, this is how I need, if you need 1,100 points, you know that that's 10 T120 orders, right? Because a T120 order is 110 points per month. So you know you need 10 of those. So it gets really easy to identify what you need to do to accomplish those goals. Is that clear to you, Justin? You look like you're totally confused. You got that? Okay. You teach math?
No, sorry, I have that dazed. They want to see how kids look.
Okay. So the preferred customer genealogy for most of you is your most important report right now. The other thing you want to look at is your 12-month analysis. And did any of you print that off?
Yes.
So really what you're looking at is you're looking at where were you a year ago. And Justin and Lisa, you guys were really nowhere, right? Because you were just kind of dabbling. But you can look at when you started and you can look at where you are now. And looking at that growth, that's really great. And as your business gets bigger and bigger, looking at that growth is really important. So you want those numbers to continually be bigger and bigger. If you do an image and you've got in your mind that my paycheck increases. Oh, look at that doggy. Is that Bear?
Yeah, he's sitting on my lap.
Hi, Bear. I haven't seen your new dog very much.
Oh, he's outside.
Yeah.
I'll show you before we get off.
I want to see your whole house before we hang up. So,
Okay.
So, you know, if you're looking at where's my increase coming, that's where you want to visualize it and picture it. And then you also want to be looking at all those lines. It's going to show you PB1, PB2, PB3, PB4, and PB5. And most of you aren't going to have anything right now past PB1. AJ, you probably have PB2 and PB3. And Allie, I think you have all the way down to PB5, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So you want that to look like a Christmas tree, and you just want to start envisioning that. So PB1 is smaller than PB2, PB2 is smaller than PB3, PB3 is smaller than PB4, and PB4 is smaller than PB5. Right now, most likely, whatever you have looks like a diamond, right? Like maybe PB1 is a certain amount, and then PB2 is a little bit bigger, and maybe 3 is a little bit bigger than that, but then it probably goes down in 4 and 5. And that is a picture of your duplication. So I recommend that you take whatever numbers you have right now and you extrapolate out to what it would they be like if you doubled them, which would mean that you had 2 lines that were recreating this, that you triple them, that you quadruple them, and that you times them times 5, because that's actually what you're looking for, is you're looking for 5 people maximizing those 5 levels. And that's what's possible for you. So it's just one more visualization technique that I really recommend that you take on, that each of those levels is that much bigger. So first level, is, you know, this, and the next level is 5 times bigger, the next level is 5 times bigger than that, et cetera, et cetera. And that's really what you're building. And that gets really, really, really exciting when you start to think about the money. And the next thing is you want to go down, and it shows you how many dealers have you signed up over the year. And you want to be signing up at least 1 new dealer every month, if not 2 to 10. I was at GoPro in December, and there was a guy from Legal Shield, which used to be called Prepaid Legal. His name's Brian Carruthers. And for 10 years, he has signed up a minimum of 10 new distributors every month.
Wow. That's awesome.
10 years. And he's not selling Juice Plus. He's not, I mean, I think Prepaid Legal is a really good program, but it's not as cool as Juice Plus. So that's a real challenge to me, and I'm really trying to take that on. That I, you know, get better and better and better at signing up new reps. So look to see how many new dealers do you have, and then how many get promoted to DD, how many to VF, how many to sales coordinator, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and challenge yourself to have, you know, like you want to have the dealers, the DDs and the VFs like every month. I want to see a 1 in my columns every month. You get to say what you want to see. And then how many new, I want to have at least 5 new sales coordinators every year. I want to help at least 5 people every year make $1,500 in income. New people. Because that's super exciting to me. And I know that a family making an extra $1,500 a month, usually it lets one of the parents stay home. Usually when you take in childcare and you take in all that stuff, if they can bring in a net of $1,500 a month, that's going to make a huge difference for that family. So that's my goal every year, is to bring on 5 new people that I help to do that. And it's just so, you'll see how much fun it is to do that. And Ellie can attest to that as well. And then the last thing is just you looking at the percentage of your business that's under different lines. You want to have balance. So you don't want to have 75% of your business coming from one leg. Don't say, oh, I want that leg to do less business, because you don't want that to happen. You just want to challenge yourself. So a couple of years ago, I was challenged by having 40% of my business coming from one leg. And my goal was not to have that leg make less money. It was to have me develop legs that challenged that leg. So now that leg is down to 30% of my total business. And where I'd like it to be is 25%, so that I have 20 to 25%. So I have 5 legs that are all about 20% of my business, because they're all really jamming and all really big. You don't want to have just one leg that you've developed. And that's our tendency, is that we find this one person that wants to do this, and we're like, oh my gosh. And you'll see that a lot in people. You'll see like an NMD make NMD with another NMD, and you can kind of guess that NMD doesn't have a lot of business outside that NMD leg. Or you'll see someone make 75 club the same time somebody else on their team makes 75 club or 50 club. And I'm not telling you don't want that, but you want width. Width is what builds volume. It builds paycheck. It builds how much money you make. Depth builds stability, which is awesome, because you're going to have people disappear. And so Ellie's already experiencing this. And so you want to have depth, but you want to go wide, because that's where the income comes from. So go wide, go wide, go wide, go wide. Personally, I have 7 qualified legs. I have, a gazillion legs, but I have 7 qualified legs, and my husband has 9 qualified legs. So together we have 16 qualified legs, and I am still recruiting frontline. I want to have 12 frontline national marketing directors that are 100 club. Like, how cool would that be? How many people would I have affected to do that? And it's just fun. I mean, like, what else are you going to do? It's super fun. Did we have a blast in Branson or what? I mean, like, how can you not want to do that all the time?
All the time.
Yes. So the last thing is your PVC report. And your PVC report really is not that important until you start reaching for SSC, QNMD, NMD, and then you're kind of looking at, structure, and the PVC report helps you look at that. But there's nobody on this call right now except for AJ and Allie that your PVC report is very important right now. And I'm not saying that to like belittle you or anything. It's just that right now it's just not that important. You're looking for, Lisa and Justin, you guys are going for SSC. So you need to create a new sales coordinator leg, right? And you don't need to look at your PVC report to tell you who's that going to be, right? You know.
Yeah.
Now, as you get closer to SSC, we're going to have to start to look at it because you have to have so many reps under, each leg. So that'll become more important. But right now, what's important is for you to be massively recruiting and helping your team recruit. And, we talked a lot about this today on RepRap. How many of you are on RepRap today? So, AJ, you were awesome on it. It was great to hear from you. And then at the end, Jake talked about, Mitra asked her about building team. And, Jake never approaches anybody about product, nor do I, nor have I ever in 21 years. I have never asked anybody to get on the product. And once in a while, I'll run into someone and I'll say, oh my gosh, you need to be taking Juice Plus. But I would never have my reach outs. I would never spend my time reaching out about product. I only reach out to build my team. And in the process of reaching out to build my team, I'm going to get customers. It's just a matter of fact, because people are going to say, oh my gosh, I'm so flattered that you would think of me. And I don't have time to think about it, but your program sounds awesome. So this month, Jake and all of her reach outs, which are strictly business, and they always have been, she got 15 new customers and 2 new reps so far in just reaching out about the business. So when you just reach out about business, you're still going to get customers. And Jake said today, she said, listen, from what I understand, we should always be offering the biggest package that we have, right? And you might think that the biggest package is T120. It's not. The biggest package is being a rep and doing T120. So you offer the biggest package that we have. If they don't want that, we back down to the next package, to the next package, to the next package, and we meet them where they are. But if you don't start up at the top, you can't then work your way back up to the top, number one. Number two, Jake's a millennial, and she feels more comfortable offering people a job, basically, rather than asking them to spend money on something. And I have no qualms about asking people to get on T120 or Shred 10, but it's just how I was trained. It's just how I was trained, and I have always, and for me, it's where the juice is in this business, is bringing people on to work with me, because that's the really fun part. You don't get to hang out with your customers all that much, but you really get to know your distributors and hang out with them, and that's the fun part. So I always start there, oh my gosh. And I can't even, I would never even make a list. I guess when I first started, there were people that I got on the product, like my dad, and he actually became a distributor right away. So there are people that you want to get on the product, but why not offer them the business at the same time? Hey, I think you'd love this program, and I'd love to have you on my team. So anyway, I think I've kind of exhausted my my repertoire of skills. But I'm willing to answer any questions if you guys have them.
So on that PVC report,
yeah,
that column 6, under Lisa's name, is that where you look for that customer qualified versus just qualified?
Yep. And thank you for bringing that up, because it's a really important number. And Don Rathman talks about this again and again and again and again. So that number in column 6 on your PVC report should be a minimum. If you want to be a D student, that number should be 1,000. But if you want to be an A student, that number is going to be at least 1,600. And that means that you've helped that many people. If it's just a trio, it's going to be 40 customers. But, we normally introduce people to T120 or T30. And so that number of customers is going to be a little bit lower, but we want that PVC amount to be 1,600. And challenge yourself. Have 40 customers on T120. You're going to help a lot of people, have a lot of great changes, and you're going to make a lot of money doing it. And then column 4, which is your personal, that's you, your dealers, and your directs. That number should be double. So if you're only at 1,000, it should be 2,000. If you're at 1,600, it should be 3,200.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next column, which is column number 5, that number should be double that number because that includes your VFs. And that number should be preferably 6,200. But if you're only doing 1,000, it's going to be 4,000, right? I'm sorry, 3,000. So it's going to be 1,600 plus 1,600 plus 1,600. That's going to be 6,200. And then if you're just at 1,000 points in column 4, it's going to be 3,000 total. But basically what you're looking to do is you're looking to have a really solid customer base. And I want to assert that you can get to a really solid customer base simply by sharing the business with people. Just because you're sharing the business doesn't mean you're not going to get customers. You will get customers.
Is there a certain video that you like to share? Like when you're reaching out, if people say they're interested in more information about the business, is there
I share the Australian video. That's my #1 video. And then if they want details, I send them to the jpvf.info website and the Wendy McGlon webinar that's there, that she really goes over the marketing plan and all of that. But I send them the Australian video to get them excited about what the business could be for them. And then the Wendy McGlon video will lay it out. And I can't stress enough the benefit of doing a three-way call somewhere in there. Could be before the Wendy McGlon webinar, could be after, but you definitely want to introduce your prospects, not only your sponsor, but also your upline NMD.
Where's that Australian video?
I just sent it to you.
Oh,
I just sent it to you. Yeah.
I recommend that you get a folder in your notes section. Do you guys all have that with all your
Yeah,
videos?
that's what I have, like 7 of them just in my notes, and I just pulled that real quick so I could send it to you. So
Yeah, so I have a folder that has probably 20 different videos in it.
Yeah.
And I can send that whole folder to a new rep.
Mm-hmm.
So now they have those, and they can build their own, but now they have it, and it says this is a children's health study. Because sometimes there are things that I normally just send Mitra. I either send Mitra, Dr. David Phillips, or the 10-Day Shred video as my first video. But sometimes there's the children's study that I'm going to send, and then I want to send the business one. So I have many of them in my notes section. What else, you guys? It's so fun to be with you.
I actually have a question. You were talking about the D's and stuff like that to make sure. But what is the, I have a few C's. What is that? And the P's, I guess.
Cancel. The C's are cancel.
Okay. But that would be me. I didn't cancel my own order.
Did you put something in as a one-time?
Oh, maybe.
Anything that was put in as a one-time is going to show up like that as well.
Those often are listed as P's.
And A's.
A's are active.
A's wouldn't be a one-time order.
Okay.
Yeah. A's are active, N's are news, and this is all on the top in your little key. So you might want to print out that first page. With a key, and just tape it up on your wall.
I see that now. Thank you.
Now, when you get more experience, Christy, you're going to see R's. And R's are, on the one hand, they're really great for giving good customer service. It's a reset. But on the other hand, I have a rep that has over 50% of her orders as resets. And there's an issue there. That means that she's catching them, which is great, but it means that people aren't getting educated enough to be taking their product regularly. So that's a red flag to me. And that's something that I want to reach out to her and just say, hey, are you giving customer service? And customer service isn't just making sure they're ready for their order. It's also making sure that we're sending out the videos. And I really love how Brian Rose at the boot camp laid out the whole customer support and how to take care of people. The Shred 10 is awesome because It's 10 days of solid education. And if you do that, you're really going to have done your part in educating people.
Now
Alicia,
that,
you're so quiet.
Sorry. I'm just absorbing. I'm a sponge right now.
A lot of information, I know that. So I hope I haven't overwhelmed anybody.
No, it's actually good. It's helped a lot.
Good.
that customer qualified point, Joy. So we've been lately, a lot of people have been joining the business because they want to start kind of making their own money. We're losing then that customer qualified points, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
You just need new ones, that's all.
Well, yeah, it seems like every time we run the report, that number gets a little bit smaller, and we've been bringing new people in, but not at the same rate as putting people to distributors, or else our distributors putting their
That's a good
customers.
problem to have, my friend. It's a good problem to have. Yeah, you guys are jamming. I'm really proud of you. So glad I came out to Wisconsin just to meet you guys.
Got some images coming here if you want to come back.
Are you going to go to Eau Claire?
They're going, tell her what you're doing. They're going 2 in a row.
Yeah, Chicago is on a Saturday,
March
the
11th.
March 11th, and then Eau Claire is the 12th. So we're taking a crew down, hopefully on one, and we're still begging and pleading for some to come on Sunday.
That's awesome.
as well.
That's
So,
awesome. Amy Hendrickson is doing the same thing. So I don't know if you guys want to carpool, but she's doing the same thing. And then she's going to the Minnesota Regional.
Oh. Yeah, we're going to fill up the minivan, take the car out, use plus people in.
And I want to encourage you to not think about begging and pleading people to do it, as to instead to think of you have a lifeline that you are throwing to people. You have a lifeline that you are offering people, and you know it. You know it from like where you came from, and you can just speak that really clearly. Like, I have this thing that could potentially save your life. So cool. So fun to be with you guys. Audrey, you are so quiet. What's going on there?
I know, and I have a question. I was waiting for the silence. Okay, on your PVC report, can you hear it? Okay, like the colors, like some of them, like on your VF whose promo is 9,000 or more is close to a regular SC promotion. Like, what do those mean? Because I get those business alerts too that says they are close to VF or whatever.
Yeah, so it just means that they're close to a promotion. They probably need the structure, but they've got the volume. The highlights are only for the volume.
They have to have the structure too. How do you get the slow way then? The slow way to...
ED is for the structure for sales coordinator. I don't like to promote anybody the slow way for multiple reasons. Once in a while I will do it, but it denies them access to the tier 1 status, which sucks. They don't get free customers and leads. They don't get the bonuses. They don't get on the fast track. Take them out of your POB. They don't get the bonuses. And usually when people slow track, they're just not really taking this on. Once in a while, that's not true. Once in a while, it's not true. Amy Hendrickson was a slow track, and she's really jamming. For the most part, I don't like slow tracking anybody to sales coordinator, and eventually that's going to disappear.
Okay.
Audrey, who are you looking at? Or are you just questioning?
Well, I have Connor under me, obviously, and he's in pink right now.
But he's a VF.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously I need to get customer more under him, but then I need the volume too, under me, don't I? Is that right?
Right now, you need to find a real true sales coordinator. When you get close,
She has one.
I do have one.
And she's got another one coming.
Okay.
2 more coming.
What's your total volume right now? What's your PVC?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out too. What is my total, and then what is the number I need for volume?
So
her pay line right now is 10-4.
And what's your structure?
She's got one sales coordinator.
And how many qualified businesses?
2. So I need one more.
1. Yes.
2.
Okay, and
2
then
legs.
okay, I'll look at this when I hang up. Do you know like how many reps does she have under the sales coordinator? Does she have a VF leg that has multiple reps?
Yeah, she's not quite there structure-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
But-
not big. There's no bang for your buck right now in promoting Connor to sales coordinator. When you get close to SC, to Q and to NMD, then you'll want to promote him, even if it's a slow way. But
Okay, that's kind of what I was asking.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, yeah, got it. That makes sense.
well, but I'm sure Allie's got her eye on this.
Yeah. We know where she's at, and she has. Anna and Jamie can both be sales coordinators sooner than later with what they want to do and the action they have going on. So.
Oh, good. That's really exciting, Audrey.
Yeah.
A year ago, now this is where you want to look at your 12-month analysis.
Yeah, no, it's been
Where
growing.
you
So,
were a year ago. Because
Yeah.
you were nowhere, right?
yeah, my January check was pretty small.
Last year. Do you want to share with people, or is that too confronting?
Oh, I don't care. January of 2016, my payout was 305,
And what was-
and December was over 1,000. My last 2 paychecks were over 1,000.
that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And how much time do you think you're putting into this right now?
That's what more. I could do a little bit more, but I'm just trying to find that balance with
Yeah,
everything. So
20 hours a week into it, right?
do what?
You're not putting 20 hours a week.
I mean, I would say I am, but I need to do more going wide though instead of down.
Okay,
And
because
I feel like once I get one of my reps to VF, then I'll be able, or help her get to VF, then I'll be able to do that more.
I'm hard pressed to say that I put more than 20 hours a week into this. There are weeks that I travel, and that's a big deal. But like
Yeah.
actually working and doing reach outs and doing all of that, I couldn't say that making the amount of money that I make that I put more than 20 hours a week into this.
Yeah.
So if you are putting more than 20 hours a week, you kind of want to have somebody look at what you're doing with your activity.
Okay.
Because that's 20 hours a week is a lot to be putting into this.
Well, I just fit it in at work when I can, and then I do it in the evenings. So
Yeah.
you fit it in when you can.
You should be able to do your level of activity right now in about 10 hours a week. Not counting going to events.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going to events is extra. But anyway, we can talk more about that later. Allie,
Yep.
is there anything else you want me to talk about? We've been on for an hour now, so I don't want to bore anybody.
No, just if anybody has any other questions.
Do these? Yeah, I always do. So you just tell me when to shut up. Do these reports tell you like when the 30-day started, 60, or is that something you go to the actual, like when they signed up and different things like that?
It does tell you when their last title date is when you go to title date on their PVC report. It'll also show you application date in the very far right of the PVC report. You'll see their application date in every minute.
Now, for their 60 days, so I have a, I'm thinking of Autumn, Allie,
Yeah,
looking at her for VF. Now, I know we signed her up to be a distributor right before Christmas, but we really didn't get her, I think, product or anything until like either right at Christmas or right after. So I know I'm kind of watching her and to see if she hit her 30 days right away. Her HLP, I want to say first day she put it in, but I'm just kind of watching 60 days. I know she's got a lot of leads, but just want to don't want that to go.
It's a moving window.
and there's an easier way to look at that than looking at your reports. I mean, I look at things like that like every day in your virtual office, and I can show you how to do that. You can go to, there's an easier way than running a report for that.
Yeah, and we do. I think I kind of watched it. virtual office a little bit, but I just didn't know if that was on here. So
Do
yeah.
you use
okay.
order analysis, Ally, or do you do the close to qualify?
I just go close to fast track team building bonus and then put in the dates that I want to look at and see where we're at. And
The
then,
only thing about that is it doesn't necessarily show you their downline. So I use both those reports,
yeah,
order analysis and that report. Just
yeah,
glad, but
yeah. In this case, Autumn doesn't have a downline yet.
okay. Okay. Well, you guys are in really good hands with Allie and AJ. Just like keep listening to them because they know what the hell they're doing. And I'm always here as a resource. You can always reach out to me, text, Facebook private message, email. You can even call me and I will pick up my phone. So I'm really proud.